Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to talk about a new frog on the market, or at least new to me, and I bet you guys haven't heard of this one. Rob Cloutier from the Bass Hole tuned me into this about a month ago, and I've been fooling around with this frog. I know it's a little bit past frog time, but this is a frog that if you are a tournament angler, if you're fishing in big fish waters like here on the Delta or Clear Lake, or you're just a big head hunter, you're going to want this frog. And it is made by the Copper Red Bait Company out of Hickson, Tennessee. This is the frog that I'm talking about. It's called the Tsunami Frog. The first thing you're going to notice is the size of this frog. It is a big fish frog. So again, you tournament guys that are looking to call out some of those smaller fish and look for the big fish, this is the one. Here is a standard, I think it's a bullywog, standard frogs next to this Tsunami Frog. The Copper Red Bait Company does make what they call a wave runner, a wave frog. This is their wave frog. Good little frog, but before you buy this one, go with this Tsunami Frog, and I'm going to tell you why. 3.5 inches long, 1 ounce. It has a 6/0 hook in it. The hooks that Copper Red Bait Company use are from a company in Japan, Kona Hooks. You probably haven't heard of that hook company if you're a bass fisherman. They specialize in saltwater hooks and tackle. These are a strong quality hook. Nothing about this frog is cheap. Matter of fact, it's going to cost you about $14. It's a little different design. It's got a little cup here on the just underneath the nose. You can see right where that's at. It's a big frog. They say that this frog is the easiest frog to walk on the market, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to agree with them. I've fished a lot of frogs, and there is no frog that I know of that just walks back and forth like this guy here. So if you're new to frogging, this is going to be real easy to get to walk. For you guys that know that little slackline pop and you like to keep that frog in place, this thing is like no other. You guys know what I'm talking about. You're fishing a big mat, and you've got maybe a foot or two of open water, and this frog comes into that open water and you want to stop it and just twitch it and keep it going back and forth. This frog barely moves forward. It's just back and forth, so it'll stay in the strike zone. The first thing you may want to do when you get this, you're going to think, I need to cut these tails off, they're too long. That's up to you, but before you do, I want you to fish this frog. These tails are made out of micro rubber, real thin. So they don't track the bait, they just kind of bunch up behind it and just kind of undulate behind the bait as it's moving back and forth. So picture this frog walking back to the boat. The legs are not always out behind it. They're right up close to it, just kind of giving it a different kind of look. Another thing you'll notice on this, with this big 6/0 hook, it may have a problem of once you hook the fish, having the fish use the leverage of this hook to dislodge himself. You know how frog fishing is. There is a hinge down in here. So if you get a fish, and you guys know what I'm talking about, a big fish comes up, you got a 5-pound fish, and he eats this like this, you're not going to have any problem catching that fish. You get a fish that comes up and just gets on the outside of it and starts flying around up on the surface and moving this bait back and forth. Well, this has this pendulum here, so it's going to help keep those fish pinned. I'll give you my highest recommendation on this frog. Like I say, I haven't fished it a whole lot, but next summer when I start fishing for the big fish just after spawn, I think this is going to be one of the first frogs that come out of my box when I'm looking for a big fish. Let's take a look at how this thing looks in the water. Let's get a little closer to these tules inside that one floating tule. We're in there. We want this frog to stay in the strike zone. So we're just sitting it there, and it doesn't move. Crawls over stuff really nicely. Comes right in there, doesn't move. Look at that thing. It's in the strike zone, and it just walks right through there. And you can see those legs, hopefully. They just follow that thing. What action this thing has. Oh yeah. And we'll walk this right back to the boat. Now this is just a slack line walk. So let me pop this frog, and you can see the surface disturbance it makes. If you want to give it a little more animation, you need to pull fish up from deeper. You have that because on this frog, you've got this little cup right here. Look at that, wow. One time, nice and slow, without as much disturbance. For on those days when fish are in very shallow water and you just want to be very subtle with your presentation, that's what you get. Let's talk about this little hole right over here. We'll get in there and watch how long I can keep this in the strike zone. Look at that. Just hardly moving forward, doing what you need it to do, comes through cover nicely. This is going to be a good bait. A high quality bait. The only place that I know that has these right now is the Bass Hole over on Bethel Island. Believe me, Tsunami Frog, check them out at the Bass Hole. Good luck, guys.